everyone, this is Stranger Hans here, back with another video. For today's video, we will be covering part 3 of the Spirit Halloween prop prediction series. I can't believe we're already on the 3rd installment, because if I'm being honest here, I thought I would have ran out of ideas a while ago. But I'm glad to say that I have a few more to share. So without further ado, let's begin with a smaller prop prediction that could make for a nice little addition to this year's lineup. This is the burlap jumping spider. I know this might seem like a very random idea. You're probably wondering, why out of all the jumping spider reskins you could have made, you chose to make a scarecrow spider? Well, good thing you asked. It turns out that this was an idea that Techie Design had in mind a while back, showing up on their list of props on their website. Unfortunately, it seems like this prop is either cancelled, or hopefully, being reserved for this year. Since we don't have any photos of it, I decided to drop what I think it could look like. Although it's nothing too special, mostly just being a jumping spider made of burlap, I still think it would be a neat prop to have. I think the scarecrow look makes it fit the fall season quite well, and I can imagine it going well next to the sinister strawman prop that has been leaked for Spirit this year. The fluff on its legs could be straw instead of the fur we've seen on the legs of the other jumping spiders that Spirit has sold. It would pretty much use the same burlap and straw materials as Scary Sitting Scarecrow from 2023. As for price, this prop would be around the same price as Spirit's other jumping spiders this year, that being $70. Just like the rest of the jumping spiders, it would be around 2 feet in height. I know we have gotten a lot of jumping spider variants over the years, but I feel like this could really stand out from the rest and be a nice option for those who really enjoy the fall aesthetic. The next prop we're going to look at is our first licensed prop in the video. This is the 3.7 foot tall Billy the Puppet animatronic, being based off of his appearance in the Saw franchise. This is the prop that I've been wanting Spirit to make for a while, and unfortunately we haven't seen it, despite the fact that the Saw franchise is over 20 years old at this point. It's a shame because not only would this prop sell well due to how iconic the Saw series is, but I think it would be a great way to get a prop of Billy the Puppet that has more going for it. I know Party City sold one around the late 2010s, but it didn't have the best animation and looked pretty off. This, however, would have a turning head, moving eyes, and mouth movements. The animation is simplistic, but I think it fits the character well as he didn't move a whole lot in the movies. I think this would be the perfect time to make a prop from the Saw movies due to the next installment in the series coming out later this year. What better than to release one now while the hype is still high? As for price, I'd expect this guy to be $200. I think that would be fairly reasonable. With all that being said though, I think Saw is a series of horror movies that has a lot of potential to be translated into the retail Halloween animatronic market, and I feel like Spirit would see so much success from doing so. And now we have this scary looking dude. This is the 3.5 foot tall Swamp Beast animatronic, made by Crazy Create, or otherwise known as CCL. This prop might look slightly familiar, and that's because it's a reskin of the Nightcrawler animatronic that Spirit sold back in 2020 and 2021. I was always a huge fan of the Nightcrawler when it came out, mostly due to its creepy design and great, unique animation and pop-up. This prop is pretty much a new take on the Nightcrawler, this time being a swamp monster of sorts covered in algae, swamp moss, and swamp weeds. I was always a big fan of swamp creatures, especially with stuff like the Gillman from the creature from the Black Lagoon. This, however, is meant to be almost like some sort of weird creature that would lurk within the marshes surrounding swamps, eventually being taken over by the plant life within that environment. What's cool about this dude is he'll have something that Nightcrawler didn't have, which is an optional fogging feature. That would definitely enhance his presence and make it even more of a spectacle on Halloween night. When it comes to audio, he'd probably growl and make gurgling sounds, maybe with some crickets and water sounds playing in the background. Something that I would really like about this prop is all the detailing on him, with Spirit using the same fabric as Bog Zombie from 2022. Speaking of which, I feel like they would go really well together in a display. But when it comes to a price, this guy would be around $210. $10 more than what Nightcrawler was in 2020 and 2021. That is mostly just due to this being released for a much later season, and also having an extra feature with the fog. Either way, this dude would be so cool to see, and definitely make for a wonderful addition to this year's lineup. Next on the list, we have the 5.8 foot tall Final Chapter animatronic. This is a prop I sort of just came up with on the whim. It's supposed to be a librarian, holding a book in her hands as she's reading it. I can imagine her asking guests to give the book she's holding a read, saying something like it's the best thing ever or something. Anyways, right after her arms snap downwards, she'll reveal her face, which is rotten and decaying, with her eyes being dark voids. She'll then proceed to spin her head around a full 360, laughing maniacally. This would be a really creepy prop if done right, and I could see her totally scaring some people with the violent downward jump scare that she has going on with her arms. I sort of took inspiration from Spirit Halloween 2020's Miss Mercy animatronic, which has a similar appearance and head-spinning animation. Obviously, the main difference is that this one's a librarian, and has a jump scare as well. For her price, I'd see her being around $220. I think this would be an awesome prop, and a pretty scary one as well. Finally, we close this video off with a favorite of mine. This is the 5.8 foot tall Hannibal Lecter animatronic, based off of his appearance in the 1991 movie Silence of the Lambs. I think that we have been due for a Hannibal Lecter animatronic for quite some time. The last one we got from Spirit Halloween was in 2008, which is crazy to think about. That one was made by Jemmy, and featured him in a straitjacket with the iconic asylum mask. He also had some pretty cool animation, with the mask snapping downwards as his eyes moved while he turned side to side. This version, however, would be based off his appearance when the main character of Silence of the Lambs, Clarice, meets him for the first time in his asylum cell. Just like in that scene, his gaze will follow guests around, using the same motion tracking technology that Nibbles the Clown used. And just like Nibbles, he will talk to guests, this time using audio from the movie. I should probably mention this, but he'd also have mouth animation. This would be a pretty simple animation, but I think the stillness of him would make him even more uncanny. I think if Spirit pulls him off correctly, they can make one of the best licensed props ever. When it comes to price, I'd see him being around $280. I think this would be a wonderful addition to the 2025 Spirit lineup. And as it is, we have seen some more Hannibal Lecter merch at Spirit lately, with some even being for this year. This could mean that we are due to get one, but I'm really not too sure. Either way, I can hope, I guess. Well, that was part 3 in this trilogy of Spirit Halloween 2025 prop predictions. I know I didn't include as many prop ideas as I did in the previous 2 videos, but I still hope that you enjoyed these concepts. As the Halloween season approaches, we will definitely be seeing more from Spirit, and although I'm excited, I feel like I might also not get some of these predictions right, but hey, it's all part of the fun. I've kept you all waiting for too long over here, but I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all later.